welcome everybody to the Gaming Corner. Today we are going to be doing a little review on Marvel vs. Capcom's Fighting Collection that was just released a couple days ago. Now, I am playing this on Steam, and I am recording this through Shadowplay, which is the NVIDIA software. So I did have to go into Shadowplay and change a few things real quick, because I realized that there was a black box up at the top, so I had to go shut off my camera. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll get into what's in here, if I remember how to shut things off properly. But for those of you who know about this, these are some very good classic Capcom fighting games when they were working with Marvel. Now, there's online play, there's a museum, you can see your fighting awards and all that. And there's a good collection of games in here, from X-Men Children of the Atom to Marvel Superheroes to X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. Then you get the Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and a game that's never been released, The Punisher. This is the arcade game that has never had official release. But let's go check out X-Men Children of the Atom. Now, all these games are the arcade version, and that, so you do get the arcade version of these games. And X-Men Children of the Atom is an awesome game. I do know that this is on the Sega Saturn, and this is a lot of fun. Now, these are all supposed to be arcade perfect translations. There is a little statement in the beginning of the video, if you saw it, where, you know, they tried to preserve these games with just a little bit of changes if they need to, and I'm curious on what those changes are. Gameplay itself is immense. It's fast, it's action-packed, it is really, really good. Now, I'm not very good at these games, so, you know, you won't see a whole lot of really good gameplay, because I'm not very good at this fighting game. But all in all, this is fantastic. The gameplay is great, it feels great, it's very responsive. Everything works excellent in this game.
You win. Round 2. Fight. Tornado claw. Tornado claw. Tornado claw.
Alright, so now we're going to move over to Marvel Superheroes. Now, one thing I don't like is they did put in a whole lot of filters in here, and I actually do not like the display filters, so I always turn them off. So that is just one thing that I do, because I hate the display filters. If you do like, you know, scan lines and all that, you can leave them in. But now we're going to get into this one a little bit, and this one had a good selection of Marvel superheroes to use. I decided to go with Spider-Man this time. And just like X-Men Children of the Atom, this game is well done on here. I can't see anything wrong with it or anything like that, because it can't be that hard to port these arcade games over now with all of the emulators that are out there. And the gameplay, once again, very fast, very responsive. I actually found this one to be a tad bit better than X-Men Children of the Atom, at least for gameplay wise, for how I could play it, because I got a little bit further in this one. But this one too just turned out to be superb. Very, very good.
Web ball. Spider sting. Web ball. Web swing. Spider sting. Spider sting.
Alright, on to the next game, X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Now, once again, I have to turn off that display filter just like normal. There's probably an easier way of doing it, but I didn't go through the options at the beginning. And I decided to take a look at a few of the extra wallpaper. They do give you a lot of stuff to look at in here. And just like every other game, this game is downright beautiful. It plays great, it's a heck of a lot of fun, and it is definitely the crossover we all wanted to see. And it gets even better as it moves over to the Marvel vs. Capcom series, though. But got to use Ryu, and I'm a huge Wolverine fan, so I had to choose Wolverine. But this game, again, graphics very well done. They look great. I like them better without the filters. But yeah, this game too is just, it's well worth it. A physical copy of the game would be a lot better than a digital one. So watch out if you buy the Nintendo Switch version, because it's a code in a box. It's not the actual thing. PlayStation and Xbox on there will have physical versions of the game, which is what I'll be going after that way wise, but you can't go wrong with at least having them here. So once again, great gameplay, great graphics, everything's very responsive. I am using an Xbox Series controller on here, and I got no issues with it. Alright, time for the next game. Marvel Super Heroes vs. Street Fighter. I don't know why I was flipping around into things there, but now we go to this one. A little bit bigger lineup. Again, got to go in and turn off that dang filter because I hate that thing. But that's my personal preference. They do got a lot of different filters for display. I've only checked out which one is on. I'm like, nope, it's turning off. But here we go into this one. Even a bigger lineup of fighters to use. And here they're starting to bring in a few other ones. You got Dan in there, if you ever liked using him. Once again, I went with Ryu, and I went with Spider-Man this time. But once again, another game that is just superbly done in this collection. Capcom has been nailing it with their releases lately. They got this game out there, they got the other Street Fighter series games out there. And they are releasing the SNK versus Capcom collection soon too. That's going to have a whole bunch of other great arcade games in there. But once again, this is really an excellent game. The special move there that I just did is Spider-Man. I really do like it because it's a one-button hit now if you want to use them, which is really nice. That was a nice little add-in that they did. But once again, just excellent gameplay again. Alright, now here we are in one of the bigger games in the collection. This is one that is definitely worth it. This is Marvel vs. Capcom. You got a really nice, good list of fighters in this one. And it's really starting to take off. Here's when it really starts to get really good. Gotta love Venom. Using Venom and Spidey, and then you get another partner to join on in. In this game, once again, there's not a whole lot I can say besides for these are some of the best fighting games out there. 2D fighting games, these are some of the best. You really have to enjoy being able to play this. Like I said, once again, too, one button to use your special moves if you need to use them, which is really nice. So that comes in really handy. I couldn't remember anything with Venom in this fight, but that's alright. But that means we're getting ready to down to the last two games in this collection. And these games have been well worth it. Alright, we're moving on to the last game in the fighting series, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. This game has one of the best lists I've ever seen for fighting games when it comes to this idea. There are two other Marvel vs. Capcom games that are out there that are not in this collection. They are the newer ones. There's Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, I believe, and then Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Those you do have to buy separately, but look at that list of people you get to select from. That is insane. I don't know if there's any hidden ones in here like there were in the Dreamcast, because there are hidden characters in the Dreamcast one from what I've heard. But just look at how large that list of characters is. That's insane. And I don't know how to use Sabretooth at all, by the way. But we're going to talk about a couple of the bigger issues some people have with this game. One is the price. It is $50, $49.99 plus tax, to get this game at least in the US, and that is kind of a steep price tag for these games, especially when there are other ways to play these. I'm not going to mention which ways there are, but probably the same way that they're running them in here, which is off an emulator. So there is that. And the other thing that a lot of people in the comments have been complaining about is that the games are not widescreen. They're not 16:9 or wider. What you do have to remember about that with these games in particular is they came out in a time when a 4:3 screen was the screen. There was no 16:9 technically. So all video games back at this point would have been 4:3. Does that mean that these games are bad? No. There is a way of getting the game to go full screen if you wanted to. I think leaving it like this is a better idea because you don't stretch out the graphics. And I'm sure with this being on a PC, you'll get somebody to mod it sooner or later that's going to do it and give you a widescreen support. I did hear that on the 360 and probably the PS3, the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that I'm running right here, there is widescreen on that one, but it does something about cutting off some of the graphics or something and really doesn't work very well. But keep in mind, like I said, these games were designed for 4:3 at the time, so that's why you're getting a 4:3 screen. And the price tag is a little steep. I think it's a fine price tag to pay. I didn't mind the $49.99. But if anything, wait for it to go on a sale. It's going to go on a sale sooner or later. I mean, Steam's going to have their probably a Halloween sale, then their holiday sale, Christmas sale, all that kind of stuff. So it will go on sale pretty soon. But alright, we're going to get to the last game I want to talk about in this list, and that is the one that I really wanted this for. On to the last game, The Punisher. Now, this is a game that has never technically had an official release. There is a Genesis port of the game that everybody says is really poor. I do have the game. I don't think it's a poor port. I think it's actually quite good. But that's my opinion over everybody else's. But this game to finally have an official release where you can play it without having to use an emulator is awesome. I love this is the reason why I wanted the game. This is one great beat 'em up. I love playing as the Punisher, and just having another great killer beat 'em up game is well worth it. Now we can just get Sega to release a Spider-Man game that they had back in the day. That would be freaking awesome. But yes, this is the reason why I wanted this collection so bad, is that I could play as the Punisher or Nick Fury, and definitely well worth it. Alright, so that's my little review. It's pretty much it's a well worth it type of game. That's about all I really said about the whole thing the whole time. I've not ran into a single problem in the game. I've had a single crash, nothing. It's been running flawlessly, beautiful, no issues at all. Most reviews I read online, no one said anything about any major crashes. Some people say there's a lot of slowdown. I haven't even seen that. I haven't seen any delay in button pushing, nothing. The only other real complaint I heard was with the PlayStation controllers, that the buttons are backwards. I can't state anything for that because I do not use PlayStation controllers on my PC. I use the Xbox controllers. So I'm not sure if that's a thing or not. So that'll be something for you guys to check on out. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I definitely suggest giving this a good look at and thinking about picking up. Either pick it up now or, like I said, wait for a good sale. One of the two, but because it is definitely well worth the money. Alright everybody, thank you for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video.
Yeah!